Tabletop audio. Yeah, we were doing the Night Forest last night. Heh, here's some, we'll do some weirder things. Maybe we'll get a cool set of rolls. Just Kiba's fine? Okay. I'll call you Just Kiba. I think that's it. Okay. Music good level for you all too? Like my microphone, my voice is coming through well. I adjusted the FPS to 30. Is that am I coming through maybe either crisper? Because I don't know if I really need 60. On something like this. Memory. The other alternative sheet, I will run a character on that too. Tonight, I figured this is the next. This is the next step away from the classic one. And speaking of which, command. Dun dun dun. Look at that! Exclamation point char sheet. Okay, let's delve into it. We have our handy dandy dice roll summary for creating a random character. Race and sub-race, we're going to need to roll 2d10s to determine. 9, and then an even number 10. So this is going to be a tiefling and there's not in the PHB there's not a sub-race for tiefling like there is for dwarves, with hill dwarves and mountain dwarves. However, I figured we could still work with that. And so the sub-races are more of a cultural thing or a personal favoritism that character has. On an odd, they would favor their devil side, their diabolic origins. Diabolic. On an even, they would favor their human origins. Maybe they don't necessarily regret being a tiefling, but they certainly, maybe they grew up with only their human parent. You know what? I don't know if the music's a little bit loud for you all here, but it's a little loud for me and my, I guess we'll just do it that way. If the music's too loud for you on your end, let me know. I might be able to, not mute it, but get it quieter in the player. Alright. So we have a tiefling that favors his or her human side more than the other side, even if it's 51-49. Gender or multi-class, that is a percentile roll. 19. We roll a lot of females. Nothing wrong with that. Just the distribution on when we're streaming this has been majority females. Now our alignment, we're going to roll percentile twice. 2d100, roll. 18, which is good, and 67, which is neutral. Our level is a percentile. Let's go back down to 1d100 and roll it. 52. .52 falls in level 9. And she is going to be a level 9 Hawat. First feats. 82. Ooh. 1 if possible. This character has feet. The singular plural. Music's good. Could go lower if you need it to. I don't necessarily... I turned the volume down in my headset because I think I turned it up earlier for what I was doing. So you guys let me know if the music's becoming overpowering. Actually, that reminds me. Okay. A D13 for our class. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going rogue, and then we're going to roll a D3 for the archetype. 1. Which is thief. Pardon me. Now we have some rando height and weight. Tieflings. Dun, dun, dun. Start at 4-9. We're going to add 2d8. Result is 13. So let's see. The 3 is going to be 5'2", 5'12", and I think we can just reduce that to calling her 6 feet. Though the question is, if you're a tiefling, right, and you have the horns coming up, would you count your height to the tips of your horns, or would you count your height just to the top of your skull? Yeah, we've had a lot of rogues, and you know, that's how it goes. Everyone can still be different, even if they are all rogues or thieves. And in fact, as we're going to be getting into making a town in the other part of this broadcast, maybe this is what our character generator is telling us. These are the people who live here. You know, it's a little bit more... I don't, it's not evil, or, you know, it's not a cut-purse town, though it just has this kind of people who live in the area. Or it attracts it because of a market, something along those lines. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself before we do that. 13 times 2d4. 13 times 4 is going to be an extra 52 pounds. She's 162. And a percentile for her age. 99. Oh, goodness. Alright, well, she is ancient. Ooh. We'll say 80 plus a D10. 8. Going back, her background, we rolled this 1d13 for that, and that ended up being a 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Background is an Outlander. Whoop, a little too far. Outlander! There we are. Remember that we do background first and random character generation, and you could even do it in normal character creation because you're going to get somewhat static things from your background that you may have redundant skills available to you by your race or by particularly your class, and you don't want to double up on something along those lines. Outlander, you grew up in the wilds, far from civilization and the comforts of town and technology. You've witnessed the migration of herds larger than forests, survived weather more extreme than any city dweller could comprehend, and enjoyed the solitude of being the only thinking creature for miles in any direction. The wilds are in your blood, whether you are a nomad, an explorer, a recluse, a hunter-gatherer, or even a marauder. Even in places where you don't know the specific features of a terrain, you know the ways of the wild. Skill proficiencies. Athletics and survival. Athletics is strength, survival is wisdom. So on this sheet, boom, we find the relevant ability, and there are the skills right next to it, right here, that we can fill in. We'll move this over some. Proficiencies. Musical instrument. As we develop her personality and her background, think what would someone like this play as an instrument of some kind. This is just going to be a placeholder for right now. Languages. Common. Infernal, that she gets for being a tiefling. And something else. Again, as we develop her background, we can say, oh, you know what, this sounds appropriate, or maybe she would have come into contact with someone along these lines. Although it sounds like in a storytelling setting, not that she couldn't be a viable player character, with someone so old, it's almost like an NPC, right? Maybe she, let's think on the fly, maybe she exiled herself to the wilds, and we'll see some of the bonds and everything that happened, to get away from people for quiet or for reflection or to find peace before she passes. Maybe there was a turbulent history. Let's see. Equipment. Well, I'll just put it down here for right now. Quarterstaff. Hunting trap. A trophy from an animal. We'll star that and come back to it. Traveler's clothes. Belt pouch. And she gets 10 gold pieces, so it doesn't necessarily pay to be an Outlander. Now she has another roll of a D10 to find out her origin. There we go. 10. A tribal marauder. Either that, or I wonder if it makes it too small if we put it up here. Outlander. Let's do that. Because our personalities are going to probably get squished. 2 personalities, which are 2d8s. Here we go. 2 and 3. Here we go. 2. I watch over my friends as if they were a litter of newborn pups. And I once ran 25... You know what? Let's save some space. I appreciate the spelled out nature, but we got to be practical here. I once ran 25 miles without stopping to warn my clan of an Hey, Delcorin, thank you for joining us and for hosting with your stream. It seems that Peter's still not impressed with you, though. You're gonna have to work harder on that. Of an approaching, this says Orc Horde. We can type in enemy. I do it again if I had to. 3d6 for her ideal, bond, and flaw. Roll it. 332. This character's ideal is honor. If I dishonor myself, I dishonor my whole clan. That sounds like why she'd want to continue to stay vigilant, especially if she was such a service to her clan before. He's a broken thing anyway, so he doesn't matter. Yeah. That's true. Although, in the show, well, rather in the books, he's a lot more mangled and broken looking than they give him credit for in the show. But then again, kind of having to remove one's nose in a in a TV series is not as practical. At least not unless you wore some sort of maybe like a green nose sleeve, and then they would digitally make it look weird. Our character's bond. I will bring terrible wrath down on the evil doers who destroyed my homeland. Uh-oh. So it sounds like she ran those 25 miles, warned of the horde, and she might not have been successful. Maybe that's why she continues to be an Outlander then, always on watch for this great enemy to come to this new place that she found refuge in. Delcorn says, I've heard that, and I'm glad they didn't follow the book's cosmetics. The books definitely get more gnarly than the TV show does in a lot of ways. And her flaw. There's no room for caution in a life lived to the fullest. She certainly has lived a long life. We had her at 88 years old. Delcorin says, leaving work now. I just stopped by to toss you a host. See you all. Oh, drive carefully. Look both ways, etc. I'd love to see you back here and not have you get in trouble. Awesome. Remember, our outlays are at, not 9. Come on now, no cheating. As such, let's come back up to races. Here we go. Tieflings are going to get a 1 here to intelligence, and charisma is going to get bumped 2. Alignment size, yep, we got that. Her speed is 30 feet. She has dark vision, 60 feet. Hellish resistance. You have resistance to fire damage. That's especially nice. Well, you know what? She's a rogue, so she probably wouldn't even take full damage on a save against something like a fireball, simply because she can avoid it. But I don't know if there's something else that doesn't offer a save, maybe just a direct fire attack. Taking half damage isn't a bad thing. Memory says that flaw sounds fitting to her age. I agree. Maybe she's had this life of regret, and yet she has still found a way to survive and to reach this old age. And she's back out in the wilds. Maybe similar to what we did for Madman Mim, the Dwarven sorcerer we made earlier, where this is her final moments, or her final years. It's her twilight hours, and maybe she wants to do one last good thing with the skills and talents she has. Maybe not out of regret for what happened, because maybe it was unavoidable. There are certain practicalities. One scout running to your home village to warn against maybe an army of 15,000 people, and the village is maybe 200 on on market day or something like that. There's not much you can do there, but she could still feel a sense of failure and want to make up for it afterwards. Infernal Legacy. The Thaumaturgy cantrip. Once you reach 3rd level, you can cast Hellish Rebuke as a 2nd level spell. Once you reach 5th level, you can also cast the Darkness spell. Okay. We're just going to do this right now, just to get it out of the way. She is going to cast, because she doesn't have other spells, we can fill her spell sheet out for her own personal spells. So she's casting off of Chaw. And then we have Infernal Legacy, Thaumaturgy as a cantrip, Hellish Rebuke, and lastly, Darkness. I will have to look up. I'll have to look up that. Maybe that's a 3rd? I don't know. I'll put that in here for right now, and then I can always Control X and Control V it in where it goes. Infernal Legacy. Darkness. And there's our common and infernal. Classes are for Rogue, Fighter. Hopefully this doesn't, me flicking through it and it flashing isn't making any of you all like nauseous or making your eyes roll back. Level 9, her proficiency bonus is going to be a +4. So we're looking right here. Sneak attack for 5d6. That's some pretty good damage output. She knows where the kidneys are and everyone. We're going to get to choose a couple things for expertise. More options for when we fill that in. Actually, we're going to get... Let's just do it this way. She's going to get 4 expertise. She gets another set of them at 6th level here. She's also going to get to know Thieves' Cant. She gets Cunning Action. We'll fill in the archetypes in just a bit. Ability score, yep, she'll get a bump. Uncanny Dodge. And if she has a pet, maybe it's an Uncanny Doge. That was the other expertise. Evasion. Extra nimble and lively. Ability score improvement. So that second one, because we rolled randomly and it indicated she's going to take a feat, we'll need to fill in what that feat is. And she'll get a roguish archetype feature. We'll come back for her hit points. She's going to get light armor and simple weapons, hand crossbows, long and short swords, and rapiers. She is proficient in thieves' tools. Dexterity and intelligence are going to be her saves. And remember, on this character sheet, it's all right by the ability score and modifier boxes here. And the saves are not only labeled at the top, breaking the alphabetic order of things, but they also have this diamond up here. So there's our dex, and there's our int proficiencies. Remember, that means that she is a little better at those than the other saves. It's just how she's lived and developed herself. Now we can choose 4 from acrobatics, athletics, deception, insight, intimidation, investigation, perception, performance, persuasion, sleight of hand, and stealth. She is a rogue. Definitely we want... we would like her to be as nimble as possible. This is the main offense and defense for rogues here. Let's drop the 15 in dex. So we have this. She watches over her friends. She ran ahead of this army in order to warn people. There's no room for caution in a life lived to the fullest. This is all proving that maybe she's more of a... memory recommends stealth. Stealth, yes. I think that would be important for her because she's a lookout. And I think we can build a lookout style rogue where wisdom is going to be higher. That way you can discern motives. You can be more perceptive. In that case, you're not like the classic thief. You're like the seneschal to the big boss, right? You're the person other people have to go through, and it's up to you to try and discern their actions, to observe what they're doing, and to go from there. So I think wisdom should be a little higher there. So let's put her 14 there. She lives... I'll bring terrible wrath down on my evildoer. Okay. So that could be something like... she has access to intimidation. That could be charisma. As well, how she carries herself with honor. And the way that she lives and the way she projects herself to others. I see maybe charisma as the next highest. 13 plus her racial 2, which will be a 15. There we go. Memory recommends stealth and maybe perception or insight. Yes, I would be prone to agree, and we're just about to that point there. I do not see strength as being her strong point. Sometimes the dump stat is the easiest that you can put in first. Intelligence, you know what? She's older. She's been around. She knows a couple things, at least more than your average person. Which, 10 and 11, that is an average, that's an average city NPC citizen. You know, level 1 commoner kind of a thing. We have, as a general adult, you have a 10 or 11 intelligence. So, in this case, having a 12 puts her in that next quintile above normal, you know, on the bell curve or whatnot. And then her constitution, she's a little older, she's a little bit more frail, so we'll just give her a 10. She's old, I don't want to say frail like she'll break. She's obviously lived a hard, tough life. She's an Outlander, so that's kind of canceled out. So maybe she was, if we generated a younger version of her, she was probably like that really not like super buff, like swole, weightlifter, but she probably had a lot of that lean muscle, that really queen of the jungle, kind of as you see in comics or something. Just she's lived a life outdoors, and that leaves an effect on your body, much opposite to the doughy effect that I have. Although, because she is a little keener, that'll go up to a 13 because of her racial +1. We are going to also get to apply. We have 2 ability score adjustments, and remember, because we rolled for 1 feat, one of those feats are going to take over the ability score. So I think what we can do is pump up dexterity. I think we can pump up dexterity to 17 on this, and then we can find a feat that offers 1 ability score adjustment, and maybe we can find a charisma one or even a dex one to put her up to an 18. And then as she levels up in some conceptual future use, she can then go back and start bumping her on her next level increase. She can increase her intelligence and her charisma at the same time and get a higher modifier in each. Gonna take Memory Lapse says gonna take a couple levels to bring up a bump for athletics, though, to take advantage of it anyways. Yes. Maybe we end up doing that, and we can come back at a later time and take the same character and project them. I mean, in this case, her singular, but we can project them down different paths, level them up, or something along those lines. We'll have to see which feats are available. Oh, she gets an inspiration point. What else is she picking up here? A rapier or short sword. Let's go short sword. I think she would have some arrows. Short bow. And she has 20 arrows. A burglar's pack, a dungeoneer's pack, or an explorer's pack. She may be a thief by archetype, though she's an outlander, and she needs to survive out in the wilds more often. This is going to lend itself then to be an explorer's pack. Leather armor, 2 daggers, and thieves' tools. Leather armor. Thieves' tools. Dagger times 2. Memory Lapse suggests a Dungeoneer's pack. See it over in Explorers? Living in a wild. Maybe, okay, so maybe she's living in caves, or she does need to do climbing in order to be the lookout style rogue that we were talking about earlier. Okay. I see where you're coming from, Memory Lapse, and I think that would be... that could be a... Like, Explorers isn't bad. I think the Dungeoneers is going to be more in her style. Okay. We have sneak attack, thieves can, cunning action. We have our roguish archetype. So we have all of that there. Thief. She gets fast hands. Starting at 3rd level, you can use the bonus action granted by your cunning action to make a dexterity sleight of hand check. Use your thieves' tools to disarm a trap or open a lock, or use the or take the use an action or use an object action. So fast hands, we can actually put here. That works. Second story work. When you choose this archetype at 3rd level, you gain the ability to climb faster than normal. Climbing no longer costs you extra movement. In addition, when you make a running jump, the distance you cover increases by a number of feet equal to your dexterity modifier. I think her being a thief works very well with her background portion of running the 25 miles. So she's running, she's fast, she's nimble, she's jumping over fallen logs, jumping through or over thorny bushes, doing everything she can in order to warn her old home village before it was destroyed anyway. And the last one, yep, she was level 9, is Supreme Sneak. Starting at 9th level, you have advantage on a dexterity stealth check if you move no more than half your speed on the same turn. I do believe then that gives over to our 4 skills. Stealth should be 1. Perception and insight as well. And 1 more. Acrobatics, athletics, deception, insight, intimidation, investigation, perception. You know what? She is smart. Memory says, Explorer's Pack and Dungeoneer's Pack, you get nearly the same thing, but Dungeoneer's Pack fits her better in the sense of living in the wilds. I would agree with that. You know, if we gave her... I don't know if she's a lookout. I don't know if she necessarily needs investigation. I don't think she's doing a lot of investigating. She's watching for things. Maybe we can go sleight of hand then, so that she can do things a little bit more quickly. Yeah. I don't know, chat. You can let me know what you think. I'm going to throw it in sleight of hand. If you have a better idea for what you'd like to have be her 4th proficient skill, lay it on me in chat. Now, it is time to choose the feat before we fill in the ability modifiers and then the skills, because some feats do give a partial ability bump. I'm looking over because there's a cat that might be getting in trouble here soon. She's stalking. Alert! Always on the lookout for danger. You gain the following benefits. You gain a plus... Jeez, we might have found our first one right off the bat. You gain a +5 bonus to initiative. You can't be surprised while you are unconscious. Other creatures don't gain advantage on attack rolls against you as a result of being hidden from you. That could be a good one. So she's always alert for ambushes. Now, that's not necessarily like a long-range scouter. Someone who perches on the hilltops and looks down into the valleys for army movements. But in a closer one-on-one combat, or if she's sneaking around and people might be hiding from her, that could give her an advantage. Memory, yep, if she has perception, she doesn't really need investigation. I would say maybe performance, thing like a sense of athletics or acrobatics. Acrobatics, possibly, because she already has athletics, and so if we combine... Hey, Henry JF, thank you very much. Welcome. I'm soliciting comments. You can share stories, ask questions. If something comes up, you want a definition on a term, what something else means. But welcome to our little storytellers club here. So as Memory has suggested, maybe we go acrobatics. Combined with her athletics, and yeah, she's not going to be the best at it, but that being proficient in it is still making up for her being somewhat weak as a character, but she's still good at what she does. We get into something maybe more like endurance running or cross-country running, which is a lot different than a 100-yard or like a 100-meter dash. Charger, when you use your action to dash, you can use a bonus action to make one melee weapon attack or to shove a creature. If you move at least 10 feet in a straight line immediately before taking this bonus action, you either gain a +5 bonus to the attack's damage roll or push the target up to 10 feet away. Okay. Athlete, you have undergone extensive physical training to gain the following benefits. Increase your strength or dex score by 1 to a maximum of 20. When you're prone, standing up uses only 5 feet of your movement. Climbing does not have your speed. Ooh, I think we might have a winner here. You can make a running long jump or a running high jump after... Ooh. Alright. Memory, everyone else in chat, I think we have a winner here for this type of scouting rogue that we're looking for. This one who's run a literal marathon in order to warn her village. Someone who has seen it destroyed, maybe has some regrets, and is now spending, her watch is almost at an end kind of a thing, right? Because she's up on the wall, or in this case, she's up in the hills watching for the movements of things. I think athlete might be the way to go here. Just in case, we'll still go through, and if something pops out, I'll read it off. Crossbow expert, she has one, but she's very dodgy, she's very nimble, she'll probably run if she can before a fight. So I don't really see a combat-oriented feat being her thing. Dungeon Delver, you are alert to the hidden traps and secret doors. Yeah, she's more out in the wild, though, so I don't know about that. Elemental Adept, Durable... No, she's not really a leader. Keen Mind. Moderately armored, magic initiative, mounted combat, observant. Maybe observant? Let's see. Quick to notice details of your environment, you gain the following benefits. Increase your intelligence or wisdom by 1 to a maximum of 20. If you can see a creature's mouth while it's speaking a language you understand, or while speaking a language you understand, you can interpret what it's saying by reading its lips. And you have a +5 bonus to your passive perception and passive investigation scores. She's a jumping, slippery bee. Yeah, from Hellboy. So, observant could work too. Do we want her more observant? Do we want her more athletic? I'm leaning towards more athletic. But of all the feats we've looked at so far, there's the two that I think are going to be strongest for her. Mobile. You're exceptionally speedy and agile. You gain the following benefits. You increase your speed by up to 10 feet. When you use the dash action, difficult terrain doesn't cost you extra movement. When you make a melee attack against a creature, you don't provoke opportunity attacks from that creature. Mobile could be a good one too. Especially not having to worry about difficult terrain on a dash. That makes you extremely speedy. And not taking AOs means that if she is jumped and is in combat, it's going to make her a little bit more survivable, which is what she needs because she doesn't have a lot of hit points. And her armor isn't going to be that high, her AC. So we have athlete, observant, and mobile. Or mobile, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Oh, sentinel. That's if you're hitting with an opportunity attack. I don't really see that. Sharpshooter if she was a sniper, but she's more the lookout. She's the like the rangefinder or the spotter. We could make her a tavern brawler. Skulker, she hides, but I don't think she needs to skulk in that sense. Okay, so there's our 3 feat choices. Athletic, observant, mobile. Remember, mobile increases her speed. She doesn't. She's not affected by difficult terrain on a dash, and it allows her to avoid some AOs, attacks of opportunity, which you incur by moving out of combat with a creature that you were in combat range. Then keep going, keep going. Athlete was you can bump up a score. You get kind of a kip up. Instead of taking half your movement to stand, it only takes 5 feet of your movement to stand. Climbing, you get a climb speed, effectively. It's not spider climb where you can climb up something sheer, but you can move. If you can climb it, you don't take a movement penalty. And you can make a running long jump or a running high jump after moving only 5 feet on foot. Which in its own right can presumably... it could presumably get over difficult terrain. It just depends on how big the briar patch is or how tall the thorn bush is or the fallen rock. And observant was another stat bump. If you can see a creature's mouth, and then you can interpret what it's saying. She does know 4 languages. Common is common. Thieves' Cant and Infernal are a little bit more specialized, but we can give her maybe a broader one with the question marks that are down here. And you have a +5 bonus to your passive wisdom, so that would make her a lot more observant. Memory offers, if she wasn't successful in warning her clan, then I wouldn't say she would be any faster. So that one gets ruled out, I believe. Alright, so she doesn't need to be faster because we presume she already... or that she reached them, but maybe if she was actually faster, it wouldn't have been attacked, but they still got attacked anyway, so her speed is kind of knocked out and irrelevant at that point in time. Okay. Herm. Let's go athlete. I think that's going to be a good one here. We'll bump her dex up to an 18, which will be nice. And the other notes are just, we're going to have to reference from that bullet point. Now that we have all of that information, it will be easy to drop in some scores. And then transfer those scores over to our skills. Whoops. You're not there yet. You are, though. And you're still there, but almost not. This part goes a little bit more smoothly on this sheet, since it's grouping the skills by their derivative ability score. If you know that already and you don't need to worry about seeing an ultimate list of your skills alphabetically listed, I would almost recommend this sheet because it's a little bit organized for kind of that next tier style of play. But you know what? A character sheet's a character sheet. You can just use a blank piece of paper or some graph paper or something if you really wanted. Why do I have a +1 on insight? Guess we'll just have to do it this way. And now our passive perception is going to be a 16. It's not too bad. Memory offers, even though she wasn't successful, blurs the lines a little with this one. It does. You know, even if it's 5149, we're the ones painting her life, coming up with her backstory. So this is what she gets. And, you know, not everyone can be optimized or get what directly makes sense, because some of us make irrational decisions. Some of us do odd things, or we know we're weak in something, but we still go for it because maybe we want to challenge ourselves and improve. That zesty blood orange Diet Coke is good. So now her initiative is +4. She's a little twitchy. Armor class is leather armor, which is 11, plus her dex mod is 15. Her constitution didn't change. So let's come back up here to classes. And I think they were D6s, maybe they were D8s. Let me double check. One of these days, I'm sure I'll just have done this enough that I have the player's handbook in my brain. Oh, there's a cat. Everyone say hello to Nisa. Ranger, there we go, rogues. They are D8s. So she would get the full 8 for her first level. And then 8 times 5 is 40, so she has 48 maximum hit points. And we haven't hit her with any monsters yet, so she's at 48. She has 0 temporary hit points. And she carries with her 9d8 hit die. 9d8 hit die. And for anyone who wasn't aware of what the hit dice are, it's kind of a holdover concept from 4th edition with healing surges. When you're taking a rest, you can spend your hit die, or hit dice in this case, to try and heal yourself, recover mentally. Because again, hit points isn't just, you know, wounds and blood and stabs. It's mental fatigue, emotional, it's, you know, a spiritual crisis kind of a thing. You know, if you're faced with a fear effect that does damage, are you really damaged, or is it just sapping your will to fight and continue on? So this allows you to, you know, sit on a log. As you take a short rest, which is an hour, or a long rest, which is 8, you can spend these hit dice. And then they will refill after a long rest. Memory is storytelling here and offers, though she wasn't fast enough to save everyone, observant over athletics because she would have needed to spot them from far off to try and get a head start to try and save them, to blur the lines. Okay. I'll revisit that in just a second, so I don't lose my place here. But we're in this together. I listen to you all. I put stuff out there, and if you want to make a better story of it, I'm perfectly fine with that. All right, we don't need to worry about that. This is going to be a 1d6 plus 4 piercing. Short bow is simple. That is also the d6. 1d6 plus 4 piercing, and daggers are 1d4 plus 4 piercing. Very good. Attack bonus is going to be +8 because she's proficient. +8. Okay, and we've already accounted for the leather armor, which is 11 plus dex. So, a couple things to think about. I'm going to go to the feats section, and I'm going to relook at Observant and see about replacing Athletics with it. We need to fill in what kind of a animal trophy. Maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be an animal trophy. Let's say that it was a marauding band of orcs that destroyed her home village. You know, does she have an orc tusk as a trophy from that? Maybe she views orcs as animals. I don't know. Does she speak Orcish? Because we still need to fill in a language. And if she does, you know thy enemy. Especially if we're going to go and take Observant, where you can read lips. That could be important, right? If you know the language of your enemy. And we also need to fill in a musical instrument that she plays. Maybe while she's alone, maybe she, plays it softly to herself to help her, with memories or just to lull her to sleep, that kind of a thing. Memory Lapse offers storytelling-wise, it's very compelling and only she knows exactly what happened. Mechanics-wise, it offers a wide range of skills. Okay, so if we do this, all her deck stuff drops by 1 until she can bump that back up in 3 more levels. And that's fine. I'm not saying this in, a pouty, oh man, I'm going to take my books and go home. But that will increase her intelligence. She doesn't really have any intelligence skills taken. Oh, but it could be wisdom. And that's fine, because she won't get a stat bump, but next time around, maybe she can do dexterity and wisdom and go back to 18 and bring wisdom up to a 16. That might not be a bad way of going about things. Because you got to think about the future of your character too. Now, age-wise, does she have a long future? No. But, can she have this one last grand adventure and really, hone her abilities before the end comes? Oh, yeah. Yeah. She seems to have kept up for herself really nicely. So let's go Observant. Dexterity is going to drop back down to a 17, which is a +3. So that's going to be a 7, 7, 3, 7, 7, 7, 7, 3, 3, 3. And then I think that normalizes things because we were going to put it into wisdom, which won't change that now, but it'll offer it later. Hey, Bobo. Hey there, champ. What kind of character are we making today? We have rolled up an elderly tiefling who, by her background, is kind of a scout rogue. She's the lookout rogue. So she has a higher wisdom, and we're giving her an observant feat because she rolled to have a feat in this. She lost her village to some kind of a raid. She ran a marathon to get back and warn them. She carries a little bit of regret. All that's up here. And Bobo, as you can see as well, we're using an alternative character sheet this time just to mix it up a little bit. And Memory made a compelling argument about why she should have the observant feat over the athletic feat, and I'm just now rebalancing the stats out for that. That will bump up her passive perception to a 21. Okay. Alright, so now we need to decide who was her enemy for backstory reasons. That can then lead into, does she know her enemy's language? Maybe so she can lip read from afar, since she's this lookout rogue. She's a survivor out in the wilderness. She has this Outlander background. So we need to give her a language, fill in her backstory about who it was that destroyed her home village. We also need to give her some kind of a trophy. It recommends animal for a survivor, but let's say it was orcs that rampaged and destroyed her town. Maybe she has an orc tusk or an ear or, I don't know, a hand or something like that. Yeah, memory, that is a really good, awesome passive perception. And Boba says, sounds kind of nice to keep challenging. Yeah. This would be, especially because playing this character, she is 88. This is ancient for a tiefling. She doesn't have a lot of natural life left. So this is a kind of a grand huzzah. Now, obviously, life has treated her well. She's reached this age. She's 6 foot tall, 162 pounds. So, you know, maybe she got this old because she is in good shape. Yeah, she's probably wrinkled, and yeah, she looks old or has like darker red spots on her red skin, kind of like, you know, liver spots or something. That hasn't stopped her from doing her job until, you know, death itself comes to relieve her of her watch. Okay, yep, that finishes that up. We're almost finished with this character then. Oh, and we need to choose 4 things in which she has expertise. Hey, Bobicus. There's no room for caution in a life lived to the fullest, but made it to 88. Well, she has lived life to the fullest. She's nearly topped off. That was our reasoning anyway, which is how she did get to 88. She does lead a full life. Maybe she doesn't need to be in the middle of a city or surrounded by people, but she has made peace with what has happened to her, to these evildoers who destroyed her homeland. And this is her way of, you know, going out with a bang or, you know, doing what she was meant to do. She says, I watch over my friends as if they were a litter of newborn pups. And, of course, she ran the marathon there to warn people. Hey, Delcorin. Welcome back. Glad you made it to your pewter. I do agree, Bobicus. She probably does have a bunch of scars, and maybe in this case the wrinkles are merciful, right? Because they they'll fold over the scars. We'll put that in her like skin style entry. That's a really good observation. Okay, so again, we need to identify her enemy. We need to identify which other language down here she can speak, right down here. What kind of a trophy? It recommends animal trophy for being an outsider, but I would be open-minded as the DM to say maybe it's a trophy from the bestial people, or not even bestial, but the people who attacked her homeland. Not that she's like a savage and hunts it, you know, like in Diablo 2 PvP, and you get a bunch of ears. Maybe it wasn't orcs, but giants? Oh, yeah. Maybe she speaks giant also. Occultist druid enemy? Ogres, giants and ogres are kind of the same thing, but different. I know they both speak the same language. So in this case, if we gave her giant, that would kind of straddle both. Pardon. And in this case, we can come up here and replace enemy with approaching ogres. If any of you have a different thought and you want to weave a tale together, make it compelling, sure, we can go back and change it. This character hasn't swung a sword yet. She can be anything. A hobgoblin shaman uniting many tribes. That could be interesting. So it wasn't necessarily one type of enemy that assaulted is what you're proposing, Bobicus. For right now, we'll just say she has an ogre's tooth. It could have been a hobgoblin that even organized ogres, because they tend to do that in classic, you know, D&D style. Since hobgoblins are more leaders than regular goblins. Okay, a few more last quasi-mechanical things. She needs some kind of a musical instrument to play. This is something that maybe helped her pass the time while she's on duty. This could be something that she plays while she travels, or maybe she rolls into town and she performs something. By background, she's not a performer or an entertainer, but she has a mouth harp or a harmonica, maybe some kind of a little string instrument, maybe like a banjo or a ukulele, something along those lines. Maybe that works. Maybe she plays the cowbell really well. And then she gets expertise in 4 skills or thieves' tools and 3 skills. Meaning we can add proficiency again and make her even better in those skills. So those are suggestions that you all can make as well. Fife or lyre or harmonica. Memory says a leaf whistle. Babacus also offers a fiddle. A fiddle because of its devil and rural. Oh, yeah. I like that. So she clearly lives in Georgia, huh? We'll do a fiddle. There you go, Bob, because you left a mark here. Bubba says, I can imagine a scout using something like the pan flute. That could be as well. A fife was also kind of brought up there. A flute could work, or even on a fiddle, because it doesn't sound like necessarily a natural sound. She plays like 3 quick little notes to warn, because fiddles they can project really loud. They're like a higher frequency or like a higher shrill sound, so maybe they carry a little bit better, and they can't be confused with a bird call. So if she's a sentry and she's warning like, hey, these people are coming, there's no need for subtlety. You give the and you bug out of there. Hi, Big Break, welcome back. We are just about done with our warm-up character. And then, so in a couple minutes here, we'll go into the transition, take a break. I'll get everything set up, and then we're going to make a town, delving a little bit into the DMG, but we're still going to use some character creator concepts in order to do that. And I will be whipping out MS Paint, so be prepared for some epic illustrations. I'm partial to the mouth harp because it's easily stowed in a pocket. I do enjoy a hillbilly violin, though. Yeah. Okay, so I think we have almost everything now, with the exception of... Well, obviously we're going to need a name at some point and her descriptor factors here. We need to fill in what does she have an expertise in. That is going to be 4 skills that she can add her proficiency to again, or thieves' tools and 3 skills. What do you all think? I think perception would be one that she would take because she's the scout, right? And if she does that, she's going to get to add another 4 down here to her perception, giving her 10. Whoop. I guess that's, was that the limit? Yep. So we'll just put 10. Which would give her a 25 passive perception. Good luck sneaking up on her, even if she's asleep. Gosh. Perception, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Stealth, maybe intimidation. Stealth, yeah, she would need to hide someplace. I can see that as well. So let's add another 4 and make this 11. So now 2 skills, or 1 skill in her thieves' tools. Let me make sure 4 expertise. If it has to be something she's already proficient in. Choose 2 of your skill proficiencies or 1 of your skill proficiencies in your proficiency with thieves' tools. Okay, yes, yeah, so this is going to have to be something she's already proficient in. That's one hell of a DC for passive perception. Yeah, no need to no need to roll 99% of the time. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that there's a door there, and everyone's also like, "What? I'm looking as hard as I can and I can't see this." You know, we might be able to go expertise athletics and boost her up to a 7. She's not the strongest, but that could give her some advantage in some way. Insight, again, that's your natural. Is someone, you know, trying to pull one over on you? Is someone lying to you? You can read their thoughts and emotions well. Survival, that might be a good one too. That would bring her up to a 10. How long can she eat off the land, cover her tracks, or even track other people through the wilderness? Why don't we put in survival for right now? That one seems really good. There is a balance for athletics. Yeah, so she has acrobatics at 7, and actually, if we go expertise athletics, that would also give her a 7 in athletics. So it would balance that out. You know, she's an old character. I don't think we should really expect her to, you know, be able to push boulders over, but it would make her more versatile. If she has to climb, she can still do decently at a climb check. Does she need to tumble down the mountain in order to dodge out of the way? She can do an acrobatics check, because usually athletics is going up and acrobatics is going down. Why don't we try that? Boom. She may have thieves' tools, but, you know, how often is she in there picking chests or locks or something? Maybe she has them to, I don't know, pick her fingernails. Or, you know, you infiltrate an enemy camp and maybe you want to get into their supplies and raid them or something along those lines. I think we have a pretty cool character here. Okay. Take care of that. So now, let's button her up. We need a name, eyes, skin, and hair. Throw something out there. Does she just go by a nickname of some kind? Does she go by a title? Does she go by a first name or a first and a last name? Is she known as, you know, the something, the whisperer? Big break. Thieves can't. That is a special language that is between thieves. So it's saying one word but meaning the other. You know, so you might say, you and I are thieves, and we want to talk about something but not be obvious. And I would say something like, it looks like there's a jolly fellow walking down the street behind us. And anyone around us would just hear, there's someone who looks happy. But you and I know that jolly fellow is code for patrolman. And so, you know, I give you like a wink and a nudge verbally or even, you know, along with that word. And when you hear me say that there's a jolly fellow walking up, you make sure that we're acting straight. Babacus, Southerners and Tieflings have nouns as names sometimes, like hope or esteem. Sure. Do you want to throw that in as a first name, a last name, or do you just want that to be her name? Babacus likes grace. Okay. Like Cockney rhyme slang. Kind of, yeah. You know, or, metaphors also work. You know, you say, put your boots down, and that might mean run away or something along those lines. I actually have, I'll try and find it for you all. Maybe I can do it during the break if I take an extra minute. I should have a document that has Thieves' Camp in it, and we can even go over that a little bit. I think that'd be fine. Babacus offers Grace Nethki. What to you, Babacus, is Nethki in your offering here? Is that maybe a native infernal for a word? Is it cultural in some other way? She is favoring her human side. We rolled that as her sub-race. Is that, yes, she's half devil, half human. She does seem to take more after her human side. So maybe Nethki, does that mean, like, I don't know, overseer or like, or something along those lines? I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'll put this down because you're the first to submit something here. And because I'm rewarding you with that, though, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire, and you got to tell me what Nethki is, is standing for. What sounds like a really good Outlander name? That's a Tiefling. Well, we have a Grace Nethki memory. Skin. Let's see. So a lot of Tieflings have kind of reds, oranges, browns. Like warmer colors. Heck, you might even be able to find like a yellow Tiefling as well. Yes, Nethki is infernal. Maybe it means surface dweller. So Grace from her human parents, and Nethki was from the human parent, and then Nethki is maybe the paternal infernal name. Surface dweller. Big Break is offering aura. Why don't we do this? Oh, we're telling a story. So her nickname, right? Because she's a rogue, she's known in and out of places. Her nickname is Aura, and she gets that name because her skin has like a nice glow to it. Maybe not a literal glow, but we'll say that she has a something like a lemon yellow skin tone with wrinkles because she's aged. But they call her Aura because aurum is gold, right? AU, the chemical symbol. Aurum is the old word for gold. So she has like this golden skin tone, and it still fits with tieflings. And of course she shows signs of aging, like wrinkles. Maybe she has like darker yellow spots, like liver spots, something along those lines. Memory says that rings well and flows off the tongue. I don't know. You all try it out at home. Babacus, does Grace Aura Nethki work for you? This is playing into her background, right? She's half devil, half human. So her name gets that aura, aurum, gold. Then we need something for her eyes and her hair. Okay, cool, Babacus. For those of you who are joining us, because it looks like a couple more people have drifted in, you're welcome to comment on this, or if you just want to lurk and listen, you can look and read along. I do try and run this stream also, so if you just wanted to lay back and listen to the story unfold, you can do so as well. We have this kind of lookout rogue. She's very old. She's towards the end of her life. She's 88. She's been through some stuff, though. She ran a marathon to warn her village of some approaching ogres, and unfortunately, they destroyed her homeland. But before she leaves this mortal coil, she will bring terrible wrath down. So we have her as this watcher in the hills, watcher in the woods, watcher on the wall. And maybe she's looking for an opportunity to strike at the army before, the final curtain falls. She does seem to have a jovial nature, right? She's neutral good. There's no room for caution in a life lived to the fullest. She's made it this far, and she's probably earning all of the stuff that she savors and enjoys, because she goes out and she'll spend 2 weeks in the wild, sit in the rain. Hopefully she doesn't wipe with poison ivy, because you don't want to do that. Eating bugs and squirrels or whatever. But then, if someone comes to replace her, or she just wanders and follows the army, but there's a town nearby, she goes and she has a fiddle that she plays, and so she'll go and really like ham it up and live and love or whatever. She's an older woman, why not? Before she goes back out and kind of acts as a gargoyle again. Babacus is offering platinum-colored hair and deep black eyes. That would be interesting because it's kind of a palette swap, because a lot of tieflings traditionally have like darker red or rust skin with lighter like orange or yellow eyes. So maybe in this case she's almost like an albino or something along those lines. Like deep black eyes. You really can't see tieflings' pupils anyway. In my campaign world, I make it a little tougher if you're trying to do insight, and depending on what it is, because you really, if they don't have pupils that they look out of, right, but they're still sensing organs, they would still have like veins or something. So instead of looking in the direction that the pupils are facing, a character watching a tiefling's eyes would have to watch for the little veins in the eye, or the little blood vessels in the eyes. Nope, looks like Nisa's back. Hi. You have beautiful eyes too. Here, can you look in the camera? Look. What's this? Right here. Hey, what's this? Yeah, of course, now she doesn't want to. She's sniffing around. Yeah, you know, maybe I should make a exclamation point cat command to keep track of the cat appearances. So eyes, deep black. Maybe they're kind of wet, right? You know, because she looks out all the time. It's not that she's crying or she can't control it. Here, oh, look, Nisa, while you're here. What's this? Oh, beautiful eyes, huh? Hey, what's this? But she just has those wet eyes. Not like blinded, rheumy eyes, like R-H-E-U-M-Y. But, you know, she's used to looking in the wind or looking through weather, that kind of a thing. And hair, I've heard platinum. She probably keeps it short if she's in the wilds, so that it doesn't catch on branches, or if she is caught, no one can grab it, right? So maybe she has like a soldier cut or a pixie cut or something along those lines. Hey, Shadzar. By the way, Shadzar, hopefully things are streaming a little bit better for you. I did put it down to 30, and I haven't had anyone, you know, say, oh, I'm looking kind of jagged, like, kind of a thing. There we go. We have a cool character on this secondary, on this alternate style. Again, for any of you joining us, we're using an alternate form of character sheet where the ability scores have the linked skills in their section, including the saving throws. So it's a little bit of a way to rearrange things there. Just watching the cam to see if it goes out of sync or not. Yeah, give me your opinion. If something's getting weird, then let me know. Grace, Ara, Nethki. We have a Char actor. Cool. Looks mostly fine. Maybe missing a few frames on the cam. I don't know. It's giving me a heads up. I am broadcasting at 30 FPS, though it does show that I have 0.0% drop frames on my end. So I don't know. It could be a hiccup on the way. Maybe all the frames are going out, but I don't know. Somewhere there's a little poked hole in a fiber optic cable and some lights leaking out. Oh, Nethki, not Nithki. Okay, that's true. You know what? In this language, there could be a huge difference. There are some subtle things, right, between, you know, between words. You know, a vowel can matter. A certain fake commercial for a New Zealand wood sealing product comes to mind. You know, I'll just kind of give a wink and a nudge there because I want to keep the stream, you know, PG-13 at most. But vowels are important in a language. There's OBS drop frames. The cam is losing frames. Oh, maybe that is too. If any of the rest of you are experiencing jitteriness or drop frames, I don't know necessarily what I can do on my end, but maybe I can try adjusting something, or if any of you have experience with this. Okay, so we got this character done. I'm going to take a short rest. In other words, like 5-10 minute break at most. It's a good time. Get up, you know, stretch, get your arms moving, get some water or tea, get a snack, pet your cat, something along those lines, and we'll be back. And oh yeah, by the way, there's I did add a few more commands if you look at the stream homepage that you can have fun with. Remember, there's the deck of many things you can play with. You can challenge people to a duel. And earlier before broadcast, I was even playing around with, there's like a roulette wheel that we can have different options on. And I was thinking about ways that I might be able to use that wheel in either character generation or for a fun contest or something along those lines. Anyway, I will. I'll see you here shortly.